What is going on, everyone? Badger here. Sure to like and sub, and let's get into this. It's not going well for Ubisoft, and once Assassin's Creed comes out, I get the feeling that we're going to hear that Assassin's Creed Hex is canceled. And yeah, based on the amount of failures they've had, I do think they're going to start either completely be bought up by the Guillemot brothers and Tencent, or they're going to have to start poaching off one by one their franchises because holy hell. Let's start with Assassin's Creed coming out now in March. They changed it from February, Black History Month, of course, to March, to the anniversary of the worst sarin gas attack in the history of Japan. 20 million euros we found out for that last delay. It bugged on stream rather while they tried to pet the dog. If you know anything about these games, if you try to pet an animal on an inverted angle, this would happen in Valhalla, any of them. It would bug out like this and it wouldn't do the animation. It just fucking stares at you. And they made a joke, tried to play it off. Saw some of you in the chats, one person saying, this is just the first build. Don't you know that? Stop, you fucking amateur. You could tell that this is a very old bug that if you've been playing the games before, you knew what would happen. That was very clearly a community manager who didn't know that. We heard from Endymion and Smash JT that the reason for these delays is to take all of the cringe rap music associated with Yasuke and to increase actually Naoe's part in the game to focus more on her. And actually, based on what we're hearing on, that is what they were doing, especially when we find out later on that Yasuke's not even an assassin in this. But talking about the money that they've spent, what they're actually doing, remember after Star Wars Outlaws, that game was so buggy, they went, oh, we can't release this game in that condition. And so they delayed it, 20 million euros. When they were talking to IGN, one of the game directors said that it was mostly about polishing and that it worked on a couple of things in progression to make it more engaging and balancing a bit more. He said the Japanese architecture was one of the things they worked on and parkouring on it. The roofs are super complex, probably the most complex that I've ever worked on if we compare it to Odyssey and Syndicate. We needed specific codes and specific animations to support something super fluid, changing the transition of the parkour to make it even more fluid. So that's one of the specific feedbacks that we heard and we wanted to. Yeah, I'm sure that the parkour, where we're finding out Yasuke, of course, can't parkour, barely can climb, is not an assassin at all. And that's interesting. That's where they're talking about Games Radar here. It said Yasuke is not an assassin because the narrative makes sense that he is not. He works with fellow protagonist Naoe, who is the assassin, but he's not an assassin and he doesn't have to be. He doesn't have eagle vision, much more involved in the story. He has his own motivation and core beliefs that align with Naoe, and off they go. So good for you. No one wants to play as a non-assassin in an Assassin's Creed game, but that's neither here nor there. Ubisoft has just shut down another studio and laid off 185 people. This is going to continue to happen. Too many failures to cover. This comes from Moby Games, rather. Ubisoft's Leamington's most recent release includes Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, Watch Dogs Legions, and they worked on Hyperscrap, Starlink, Battle for Atlas, and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and they're gone now. They're gone now, so 185 of them gone. Shutting down Ubisoft Leamington, which is located in Warwickshire, England. Studio had 150 people, or 50 people on the staff rather, and then another 185 across the entire business. Now looking good, saying the studio was working to support Tom Clancy's The Division series and assisted on games such as Star Wars Outlaws, Skull and Bones, and Far Cry 5. Well, Far Cry 5 is great. Skull and Bones, however, is one of their major failures. Pandora, one of the major failures. You can see them talking about the layoffs here. It's part of our ongoing efforts to prioritize projects and reduce costs that ensure long-term stability at Ubisoft. We've announced targeted reconstructing at Ubisoft Dusseldorf, Ubisoft Stockholm, and Ubisoft Reflections, and the permanent closure of Ubisoft Leamington site. Yeah, sorry to 185 people there. We saw X Defiant absolutely failed just a month after they said they had no plans to shut it down. It was shut down. And of course, saying the layoffs will continue until morale improves or the budget improves. No one's playing Star Wars Outlaws. That game's so buggy, of course, that it led to the delay of Assassin's Creed Shadows. And the real sin that we always talk about is that Skull and Bones, their pirate game, which cost somewhere in the realm of $700 million conservatively, and they never got more than 3,000 people playing it. Currently has 100 people on Steam, and you don't win friends with salad, and you don't make a business with games like this. So yeah, so long to that studio. Unfortunately, layoffs for the people. And I think Assassin's Creed Shadows, when it comes out, is going to be Ubisoft's last big failure before it just gets piecemealed out. I don't know. You let me know what you think about the whole thing. I have no, especially after seeing those gameplays. Maybe a couple of years from now, I'll buy a full, complete, and like $3 version of Assassin's Creed Shadows on Steam, but I'm certainly not playing it. Certainly not playing it at launch. Maybe if it's on Game Pass. I don't know. We'll see what the chat thinks. Either way, you let me know what you think. Make sure to like, share, and sub. If you have done that, thank you. If you're going to do that, thank you.
Well, bye.